Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Elvis Sinisek to defeat Forrest Griffin. And I'm here to talk about Morgan Charriere versus Manolo Zecchini. Both these guys are making their debuts. Zecchini is 11-3 as a pro, 26 years old, and he's got 1 inch of height, and I don't know the reach, over Morgan Charriere, who is 27 years old, 18-9-1 as a pro. Morgan Charriere is the more decorated fighter. He is the guy that I trust more. I think he's a much more polished fighter, versatile guy. I mean, he seems much more of a striker, but he's got some nice sub wins as well. And he's proven to be much more durable, in that he's got 9 losses and 8 of them are via decision. Manolo Zecchini is a fucking dangerous, wild man. He's got 8 knockouts in his 11 wins and just 1 decision, and then a DQ and a submission. But he is a very dangerous guy, heavy-handed, throws the kill. Seems like one of those guys who, I don't want to say he's Terrence McKinney, but I expect more of his wins to be early, more of his losses to be later, generally speaking. He's only got 3 losses, but one of them is via TKO, one of them is via submission, one of them is via decision. He lost to a decision to this guy Sufiev. I wasn't able to see it, but I saw his other losses. He lost to this guy, Mateus, I think Danny Matias, and he beat him by TKO in round 2, and that was a fight in which he was fading. He hurt the guy early in round 1, was having success, and then hit takedowns, but had them reversed in both rounds, and then just fell apart a little bit with the cardio, and then he started just being straight up out grappled and was put into the back mount and pounded out deep into the second round. It was, not a shameful loss or anything. It was a good fight, but no doubt cardio played a role. It was the story of the loss, in my opinion, as well as the ground game, to be honest. And then this guy Kurt, I think, or Gert Kokani, triangle choked him in round 1. Which, whatever, you live and learn with experience. But I'll say this, he dove right into a triangle. He was like, hey, could you open your legs? Okay. And then he dove in and fucking wasn't a great look. I do think he's bad on the ground, Manolo Zecchini. I think that is where Charriere could really expose him, especially once he fatigues him. I think he could put him away down the stretch on the ground in one way or another. Morgan Charriere, he's only got 3 submissions, but one of them's over William Gomis in a fight in which he was working submissions and laced up a heel hook in round 2. But it was, he knew he was going to submit him from the beginning of the fight, it seemed. And that was a year and a half or so after he lost his only fight via finish, and that was via a heel hook in 2015. And then he got the win over Gomis in 2016. But, he lost via heel hook in 1 minute to this guy. And every other one of his losses is by decision. All 8 of his losses, of his other losses, are via decision. And they're to some very good fighters. Saladin Parnas, Soren Bach, Paul Hughes, this guy who's going to be a name. Jordan Vasenik, he's only lost to really good fighters, and these were some very close fights, especially as of late. The majority of his recent losses in the last 5 years have been very close fights and to very good fighters. And he's damn tough. Never been knocked out. He was rocked in round 3 against the guy Paul Hughes, but he survived. And he's got grit. Seen him fight hard for 5 rounds in that Paul Hughes fight. Fought hard for 5 rounds, made it a really close fight. He's just a really trustworthy fighter, and that's durability-wise. Offensively, he's awesome. I mean, this guy, he's not very agile, I'd say. That's his biggest detriment on the feet, but he's got a very tight stance, throws some really good hooks where even if he's up against it reach-wise, this guy manages reach really well. And he's not like so explosive like Angelusa, where he's going to cover ground, but he protects himself really well and just has really good boxing specifically, where he can handle himself well on the feet against most fighters. He's really goddamn good. Although maybe not Saladin Parnas, who was really working him at range. But he's definitely a very good fighter, Morgan Charriere. I think he's trustworthy down the stretch in any situation. And specifically, I think he could exploit Manolo Zecchini on the ground, if not even on the feet. But he's got to mind his P's and Q's. He's never been knocked out, but he's been rocked. Manolo Zecchini, I think he's pretty much first round, second round knockout or bust. I don't know everything about this guy. He just hasn't fought that much great competition. So there's more to trust with Morgan Charriere considering his career. He got the third round TKO over Diego Silva, which is a good guy. He's, just more trustworthy down the stretch. And I think he's going to put away Manolo Zecchini. That's my prediction. Morgan Charriere by round 2 or round 3, finish. TKO or submission. And I'll wait to see the prop bets and sprinkle something that looks juicy. But that's how I see the fight playing out. If Zecchini's going to win, I think it's going to be a knockout early. But he's got that style where aggression and power can win decisions. I just don't envision him losing enough of a fight, and making it the distance. I think if the tide turns against him, especially in the second half of the fight, he's getting finished. That's my prediction, and that's how I see the fight playing out. Morgan Charriere, late round 2, something happening on the ground. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.